The scene cuts to Jia Ren, absolutely livid, screaming at his underlings that they are all worthless. He scoffs, questioning how so many men could not even capture a single woman. One subordinate nervously explains the demoness was ready for them, with hidden weapons and bizarre moves that caught them off guard. They did manage to wound her, but she vanished into the crowded streets before they could finish her off. Furious, Jia Ren kicks a chair and roars at them to keep searching, vowing to dig the whole city up if necessary. He cannot believe a living person could just disappear from the city without a trace. His son Zhengdao tries to calm him, assuring him the soldiers are tightening patrols, and finding her is only a matter of time. Jia Ren then asks about that little brat Civilization. What has he been up to? The subordinate reports Civilization has been holed up in the palace and has not left. Jia Ren sneers. That demoness is wounded and needs a hideout. He'll definitely reach out to her. Just then, another subordinate bursts in with urgent news. Sir, Civilization left the palace. He has gone to the Tang family mansion in the southern city. Both father and son are stunned. The Tang family, Jia Ren's mind races. The Tang family are the empire's richest merchants, and more crucially, its weaponsmiths for generations. What is that little beast up to at the Tang residence? Could he be plotting treason with them? Zhendao's eyes light up. Father, this is huge evidence. Hold on, Jia Ren says, still thinking. A visit alone is not enough proof yet. Zhengdao insists they report to the emperor immediately, claiming Civilization is conspiring to seize military power, but Jia Ren stops him. We have no proof, and the emperor shields him. If we act now, we'll just alert him. That will not work. Deploy all our men, he commands. Watch Civilization and the Tang family closely. Collect every shred of evidence linking them. Once we have it, I will make sure this traitor dies a humiliating death. The subordinates bow in unison. Yes, sir. The scene shifts to Civilization, now standing outside the Tang mansion. He knocks repeatedly, but gets no response. Is nobody home? He mutters. Finally, a servant opens the door. At last, Civilization says. The servant asks, May I ask who you are, sir? I come on the emperor's orders. I have urgent business with the master of the house, he announces. The servant's eyes go wide. This is the Wu emperor's decree. Forgive this old servant's rudeness. Please, come in, come in. Civilization nods and steps inside. As he walks in, Civilization cannot help thinking. So this is what power feels like. Not bad at all. The servant guides him. Right this way, sir. Stepping inside, Civilization could not help but admire the Tang family's wealth and their reputation as the empire's premier weaponsmiths. He took a seat, taking in the opulent surroundings. The servant asked him to wait while he informed the master, and Civilization thanked him politely. While sipping tea, his eye caught something on a display shelf that seemed out of place, items that looked like they came from the western regions. Curious, he got up and moved closer to the shelf. Picking up a glass orb, he confirmed his guess. This was definitely from the west. Seeing so many western goods in one place, he realized the Tang family must have deep trade ties beyond the borders. He then noticed a hand mirror nearby, but just as he reached for it, a figure silently entered the room. The newcomer spotted him standing by the shelf and let out a puzzled. The girl, dressed like a maid, wondered if there was a scheduled visitor, but she did not recognize this man. Before she could react, Civilization picked up the mirror and admired his own reflection, muttering, That did it. The girl lunged at him, grabbing him by the collar and knocking the mirror to the floor with a loud crash. You've got some nerve, she snapped. Stealing right under our noses in the Tang mansion, she screamed. Civilization blinked in utter confusion. Stealing? Me. The girl caught the man red-handed and snapped, caught in the act and still trying to talk your way out. Wen Ming's mind raced. Could this fiery girl be the very same Wanwan that Liu Ruyan had mentioned? And where the heck was that deadbeat Liu Ruyan when he needed her? Playing it cool, he put on a friendly smile and said, Miss, let us calm down. We are practically old acquaintances, you know. As he tried to gently pry her iron grip off his collar, she only tightened her hold. Let go of my hand, you pervert, she roared, swinging a slap that he barely dodged. What the? He yelped, thrown off by her aggression. Smooth-talking scoundrel. How dare you dodge? She fumed. Miss, wait. This is all a huge misunderstanding, he pleaded, backpedaling. Without another word, she drew a whip from her waist, ready to strike. Pervert, prepare to die, she cried, lashing out. Wait, he shouted, caught off guard. Realizing words were useless, he decided he had no choice but to subdue her. Quick as a flash, he snatched the whip right out of the air, catching it firmly in his hand. With a sharp tug, he yanked the whip, sending her stumbling forward off balance. He caught her neatly as she fell, steadying her. Ah, she gasped in surprise. You pervert! Let me go, she struggled. Sorry, I just wanted to calm you down, he said, apologetically. She broke free and screamed, Pervert! Lecher! You are dead today! Suddenly, a stern voice rang out. Stop right there. A powerful figure strode into the room. The girl's eyes widened. Father? It was Tang Long, the head of the Tang family. Father, you came just in time. This thief had the nerve to steal from our Tang family, she accused. Tang Long raised an eyebrow. Oh, he said, his tone cold. Wen Ming's heart skipped a beat. What? What are you going to do? He asked nervously. But to everyone's surprise, Tang Long's demeanor suddenly turned warm and welcoming. Is not this His Majesty's personally appointed Grand Palace Steward, Lord Wen? My apologies for not greeting you properly. What an honor. Both Wanwan and Wen Ming were stunned speechless. Huh? They blurted out in unison. Wanwan gasped. Him? The Grand Palace Steward? A damned eunuch. Tang Long barked at his daughter. What are you standing around for? Go prepare the finest tea and pastries for Lord Wen at once. With a furious Wanwan stormed off, her resentment obvious. Tang Long bowed apologetically. Lord Wen, I am Tang Long. My daughter was too rash. Please forgive her rudeness. Wen Ming waved it off with a chuckle. Master Tang, you flatter me. It was all a misunderstanding. Then Wen Ming produced an imperial decree. By the mandate of heaven, His Majesty commands. The Tang family is to immediately assist the Grand Palace Steward, Wen Ming, in the development of new weaponry. Tang Long knelt and accepted. Your subject obeys. But Tang Long hesitated. Lord Wen, developing new weapons is a costly and time-consuming affair, not something that can be done in a day. Wen Ming smiled confidently. Master Tang, do not worry. I already have an idea for this new weapon. He reached into his robes and pulled out a small pouch. Tang Long leaned in curiously. Oh? Lord Wen already has a blueprint? What divine weapon could it be? With a mysterious grin, Wen Ming placed the pouch on the table and opened it. Master Tang, take a look at this. Tang Long stared at the mysterious black powder, utterly puzzled. What in the world is this? He asked. Wen Ming quickly warned him to be careful, explaining that this substance was highly volatile and could easily explode. Tang Long scratched his head. But Lord Wen, how do you turn black powder into a weapon? Wen Ming explained that on its own it was unremarkable, but if you gave it a proper container and paired it with iron balls of various sizes, it could shoot them out at incredible speed. Any martial arts master would be torn apart like paper. Talk about a jaw-dropping revelation. Tang Long's eyes went wide. What? He stammered. So there really is such a divine weapon in the world. Wen Ming nodded confidently. Of course, this is... But before he could finish, Wanwan stormed in and slammed a tray of tea onto the table with a loud bang, clearly still fuming. Father, do not be fooled, she scoffed. It is just a bag of black powder. Saying masters are like paper? That is pure fantasy. Wen Ming thought to himself how hard it was for people of this era to grasp the true power of this substance. Out loud, he said calmly. Such a novel thing, it is understandable that Miss Tang does not believe it. Clasping his hands behind his back, he declared, Words are useless. Seeing is believing. Then, with a grin, he proposed, So why do not we test it out? That'll settle the question. At the Tang family training ground, the stage was set for a rather unusual demonstration. Tang Long gestured to the vast space, offering civilization free rein for his test. But the young man simply smiled and said a small area would be more than enough. He then revealed a simple explosive he'd made from gunpowder, holding it up for everyone to see. Explaining that he'd detonated against a wooden dummy, he calmly asked Tang Long and his fiery daughter to step back 20 paces for safety. Wanwan scoffed. muttering that it was all just showmanship. She outright declared she did not believe his claim that this thing could tear a grandmaster apart like paper, and insisted on testing it herself. Tang Long immediately scolded her, telling her not to fool around. Civilization also protested, stressing that the weapon was extremely dangerous and not a game. Wan just crossed her arms, looking unimpressed. She shot back, accusing him of fearing his lies would be exposed, and questioned how a palace eunuch could possibly know such technology. Civilization could not help but think, why do some people actively seek their own doom? But Wan was adamant, folding her arms and insisting she had to try it, determined to prove him wrong. Seeing there was no talking her out of it, Civilization relented, but on one condition. Wan asked what that condition was, ready to hear him out. Civilization then demanded that she wear a full suit of iron armor before the test. After she suited up, she stood impatiently, asking if they could finally start, but Civilization handed her a shield she'd forgotten and warned her to stand firm, jokingly adding not to cry afterward. He then crouched down and lit the fuse, which began to hiss and spark. Wan stood behind the shield, thinking to herself that she was curious to see what this dead eunuch could actually do. The fuse burned down completely, but for a moment, nothing happened. Wan peeked out, saying, "That is it." But in the next instant, the gunpowder ignited in a massive explosion that lit up the entire sky. The blast sent Wan flying backward, her armor shattered and smoking. As she screamed in shock, Tang Long cried out in panic, calling her name. Fortunately, Civilization caught her midair, breaking her fall and preventing any injury. As he gently set her down, a dazed Wan asked what had just happened. Civilization assured her it was safe now. He then asked if she was hurt anywhere, showing genuine concern. Realizing she was still in his arms, Wan blushed and quickly jumped away, stammering that she was fine. Tang Long rushed over, asking frantically if she was injured. He then scolded her harshly, calling her an ignorant girl and saying how could he explain to her mother if something happened. Tang Long continued his scolding, pointing out that without Lord Wen's timely intervention, she might not have survived, leaving Wan silent and ashamed. Wan turned to stare at the smoking crater, gouged into the earth. Nothing but scorched debris remained. In that moment, she fully realized how wrong she had been to doubt him. She walked over and bowed her head, apologizing sincerely for her earlier rudeness. Civilization simply waved it off and asked if she now understood the weapon's true power. Tang Long, still buzzing with excitement, declared the invention a divine artifact. But he quickly raised a practical concern. Although the powder was devastating, it was nearly impossible to control in the chaos of a real battle. Civilization nodded, acknowledging that Tang Long had hit the exact problem. He then asked for paper and a brush to sketch out a solution. Back in the Tang mansion, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. After a short while, Civilization set down the brush and announced the design was finished. He mused to himself that he still remembered things from his past life vividly. Tang Long asked eagerly if the work was complete. Civilization beckoned them over, saying they could take a look for themselves. Wan studied the drawing and asked if this was the new weapon made from the gunpowder. Civilization confirmed it and explained that this was the container he had mentioned, the one that could channel the explosive force safely. He paused for effect, letting the suspense build, then he named it, a cannon. Tang Long could not contain his excitement, praising Civilization as an absolute genius. What a way to kick off a new project. He immediately declared they'd head to the workshop, gather the best craftsmen, and begin trial production right away. Watching her father geek out over a new weapon like an overgrown kid, Wan could not help but shake her head. Civilization then turned the conversation, discreetly asking after Liu Ruyan's well-being. The question caught Wan completely off guard, her eyes widening in surprise. She quickly pretended not to know who he was talking about, hoping to brush it off. Before she could keep up the act, Ruyan herself appeared and told Wan there was no need to hide anymore. Ruyan stepped into the room, making her presence known. Wan gasped, exclaiming her name in shock. Ruyan, of all people. Wan demanded to know why Ruyan had shown up, but Ruyan calmly told her not to worry. She then insisted that Civilization was no outsider to her. Wan's mind raced. They already knew each other? Since when? Civilization asked Ruyan how her recovery was coming along, to which she replied that she was mostly healed. She grumbled about those thugs using underhanded tricks, but boasted that if they had not outnumbered her, she would have wiped the floor with them. Her gaze then shifted toward Civilization, a hint of teasing in her eyes. "Look at you," she said with a smirk. "Already the Grand Master of the Imperial household after just a few days. And you only now come to see a wanted criminal like me, Lord Wen." Civilization quickly shushed her and explained he had been busy searching for the dragon vein in the palace. "I could not get away." Wanwan watched in disbelief as Ruyan chatted so casually with the young eunuch. This was not like her at all. What in the world was going on here? She knew Ruyan had always avoided getting close to men, yet here she was taking the initiative. Strange. Civilization kept apologizing, saying he really was looking, but the Empress kept piling on new tasks. "It is not that I do not want to. I am just swamped." Ruyan pressed him for any news on the dragon vein, and he promised to inform her the moment he found anything. Realizing he had to get back to the palace, Civilization started making his excuses. He politely took his leave from Wanwan. As he hurried off, Ruyan muttered, "Why rush off so fast?" Wanwan seized the moment to tease her friend. "Lu Ruyan, you are hiding a man from me, huh?" Ruyan's face turned bright red as she protested. "Do not talk nonsense." She stammered that there was nothing between her and Civilization. "Besides," she added, "he is a eunuch." But Wanwan was not buying it. In Wu Kingdom, eunuchs can still marry. So, really nothing between you two. "You even call him by his name," Wanwan pressed. "I have never seen you do that with any other man." Ruyan stumbled over her words, trying to deny everything, but Wanwan was not having it. She cornered her friend, teasing that she would not let her escape until she spilled the truth. The scene shifted to the vast grasslands of the northern barbarians, where a tense meeting was about to unfold. Inside a tent, a rugged man with a long beard spoke, commanding. "Speak," he demanded any news from the Wu dynasty, his tone expectant. A general stepped forward, reporting that their spy in Wu had confirmed the former Marquis Zhenbei had not truly surrendered.
What?
Another general burst out, shocked. He fumed, insisting that the Southerners were cunning and that the Marquis must be a spy sent by the Wu Empress. He urged the Great Khan to have the man arrested and executed immediately. The rest of the generals echoed the call, shouting for his death, their voices filled with anger. Silence fell as the Great Khan's authoritative voice rang out, ordering everyone to calm down. The Great Khan revealed he already knew the man was a spy, showing no surprise. He compared the situation to two dogs, one that had lost its value and one that bit its master, and asked which was more interesting. A chilling analogy from the northern ruler.